You did it.
I already did,
Hello.
baby. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. It's tea time. Tea time. Tea time.
Yes.
This is like a new thing, a new stream we're going to be doing where we come and we just discuss some tea, some hot goss,
Mm.
some crazy shit going down. Uh, because some wild things have been happening. I know that Frankie does not know anything about what's happening.
So I'm here to be
And
informed of
listen, and
said.
I can only like talk on what I can understand because when I tell you this thing goes deep and it's complicated. Hello, Tammy. Welcome.
Hello.
Mm. So get your tea ready because we're here to like do some gossiping together. So, um, anyone who is aware, I have been, yes, Mike, I have also been reading the things.
I haven't, and I'm dying to get into it and find out what's going on. I
Okay.
miss K-pop. I miss
So,
K-pop drama.
Hybe, formerly Big Hit, is this conglomeration of K-pop companies, essentially, and it's made a career at this point out of buying up smaller companies and then making them
Right.
subsidiaries to the Hybe giant. Oh, yeah, listen, we're all in a cult now. We'll get there. We haven't gotten to the cult yet. Austin, we haven't gotten to the cult yet, okay? And one of those subsidiaries is Ador. And Ador is where New Jeans is. And the CEO of Ador is Min Hee Jin. Okay. And you'll know her from being the kind of. Listen, I don't want to say anything that could be construed as libel, but welcome. But the lady who was really responsible for the very inappropriate early shiny concepts. Let's just say the Knots style shiny concepts that existed back in the day. The ones that the fellas in shiny are like, yeah, we weren't really comfortable with that, but it is what it is. Yeah, and also responsible for New Jeans Cookie, which she denied had sexual connotations.
That's yes. Was that one of their first one?
That was their first. Like, that was their debut.
The babies.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Oh, it's about baking cookies," and we're like, "Nah, it's not. Okay, it's not." But anyway, I digress. We can't prove any of that. Has she had inappropriate things from like Brooke Shields back when Brooke Shields was being groomed by the entertainment industry?
Oh my god!
Posted on her Instagram and framed in her home? Maybe. Okay, that's a thing that happened.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so that's her existing in her own thing.
Endless love.
So Hybe announces that they're going to do an audit of Ador Entertainment. Okay. And so accusing it of having plans of attempting to break away from Hybe and take New Jeans with them.
Bit like, I see, Hong Kong and China.
Yeah. So they want it's more just like the reverse of a hostile takeover, a hostile exit. Okay.
Right.
So then you find out that Hybe owns 80% of the shares of Ador, and then she owns 18%, and then other executives have 2%. Okay. And previously, they had 100% stake in Ador. Hybe did. But then last year, a new contract between Hybe and Min Hee Jin was signed. So she got 18% of shares, and then she signed a very stringent non-compete clause in order to get this because the New Jeans had been taking off in popularity. So that was potential to be a huge amount of money for her. So after Hybe announces that they're going to do this audit because they're convinced that she's trying to break away, she denies that's happening. Okay. And so then begins the first crux of what's happening. So she then goes to get ahead of this, I guess, listen, I can't speak to what she's wanting to do. She gives this insane press conference. All right. So it's her and two lawyers. She does not dress nicely for this. This is where I start to where this is clearly a PR situation. She doesn't dress nicely for this press conference. She wears a striped sweatshirt and a hat, and she shows up her face all red as though she's been sobbing for hours.
Oh,
and she has these two lawyers with her, and she starts spilling tea. She has she starts saying I didn't want to leave, but this is such an unfair contract. I feel like these girls are my daughters. I gave birth to them. They're always comforting me. Hybe wanted me to ruin ESPA. The CEO was constantly on me to try to ruin these other groups, but I was I didn't want to do it. Yeah, yes, Mike. Well, this is another thing she wanted, which is where this all starts to fall apart when you just follow it and look for, oh wait, she just wants more money. Anyway. So she's then it gets into G-Friend, okay? So we're going way back because Source Music that G-Friend was under. And G-Friend at the time that this was happening was very popular and was poised to, one, re-sign, and two, have a new album come out. So a big comeback. But then suddenly they were forcibly disbanded. They were just disbanded out of nowhere.
And then a shame. They were so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, and then she takes some trainees from Source Music over to her new company, specifically mentioning one where she was she was 14 and she was just so beautiful when she was young. And I'm okay, girl, you gotta stop it with this weird nonce shit, okay? So G-Friend gets screwed over in this whole thing. And then she starts accusing all these other groups of ripping off New Jeans. Ive is ripping off New Jeans. No, Illit's ripping off New Jeans, which I think is the only one that could possibly be argued that it could. Le Seraphim was designed to destroy New Jeans because Hybe was worried that New Jeans would become too popular and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just... So then that happens, all right? And so she's garnering a weird sort of sympathy by being I'm just a poor put upon employee who's just being abused by my boss. But that sort of falls apart when you're the CEO of a subsidiary. You know what I mean? It's you're not a salaried employee. You own stock options. You own stock in this company. You are a large shareholder of the company that you're talking about. But here's the thing that I think it's important to remember before I get into the truly bizarre shit, is that there is a sort of human desire in these situations to try to pick a side. Don't do that, okay? You don't need to pick a side. They can both be awful and terrible, and you can just see what's happening and just yeah, so exactly, Mike. She also has stock options in Hybe. So then all throughout this press conference, she's crying and really hamming it up for the cameras. I'm not going to say if she was really upset or if this was a ploy, but I do know that her lawyer did attempt to stop her several times from saying things. And she was and another thing, I'm going to say it anyway. And so at one point, the lawyer is just sitting there like this, sorry, my internet's being, sorry about that. So anyway, one lawyer has his head in his hands. The other lawyer seems to be struggling not to laugh at what's happening because this whole thing was absurd. She then holds a second press conference to reiterate some of these things, shows up in the same outfit on the next day. And I'm okay. Talking about how all of the New Jeans parents are so upset at Hybe. And I'm Okay. And it's like, oh, all these girls have been such a comfort to me. I'm like, they're 15. They shouldn't be a comfort to you, grown-ass woman. This is fucking weird.
Yeah.
But then the truly bizarre shit happens.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So this happened yesterday while I was at work, and I was like, Natalia, you gotta focus on accounting. You can't be in this right now. But I think it was Korea Boo, which Korea Boo is not a news source that you should trust. Okay? Yeah, this is where the cult leader comes in. Like, all K-pop and fucking Korea Boo, do not trust these as reliable news sources. Okay? Like, this is an important thing that I think a lot of people just, like, run with things. They post a thing that starts with brackets rumor. Okay?
Okay. So
which
now
is
they
like,
can say anything
they can say whatever they want because they've said this is just a rumor. That now Hybe is actually being controlled by a cult. Okay?
Oh, and so okay. This went into a place I had no idea where this was.
You didn't see where this was going.
No.
And G-Friend, that G-Friend had been defeated because they had been they had been taken over.
Kirsty,
Listen, G-Friend had been taken over by this cult. And part of the reason they were disbanded was to like prevent them from like spreading like a satanic message. It has nothing to do with money. It's the cult.
This
okay?
Is good tea.
Okay. Wow. So I saw someone post. I was about to lose my mind because y'all getting lost in the sauce on K-pop Twitter, okay? Like, it's gone insane, all right? Someone was like, yes, Min Hee-jin had to work against Hybe and their cult ways because she's a Christian. Now, this is important. I need to mention that during her press conference, for some reason, she brought up that she went to see a shaman several times to, like, ensure the success of New Jeans. Mm-hmm. And someone adequately questioned, like, what do you mean you went to see a shaman? And she was like, what, I can't have a shaman friend? Like, I can't have a shaman friend? And it's like, no one's saying this. But, like, this whole situation is so fucking bizarre. Now, listen, I know that Korea does have a cult problem, okay? Yes. Legitimately, they do. Yes. But I think the cult of capitalism is what's actually happening in this entire situation. And I think that getting lost in like this bizarre conspiracy theory about some like religious evil overlord. And the other thing is like, oh, like, cause Bang PD is like associated with this guy who's like runs this weird religion, and they put up a statue in America of their goddess. And like they were acting like that's weird. And I'm just sitting here. Listen, you can believe whatever religion you want to believe. Like, I don't actually care. But I've seen so many Jesus and Mother Mary statues worldwide that I'm like, all right, calm it with the it's weird to put up a religious statue bit. Enough, okay? Enough. But here's what I think the important thing to take away from this is. One, she's arguing mostly about a contract situation. Like, that's the crux of what started this whole problem, is that she wanted to like get out of a contract. Now, here's my thing. Like, a lot of people, employees who don't have a lot of power are forced into unfair labor contracts, okay? But a CEO who is getting 18% of a multi-million-dollar company with stakes in an even like a multi-billion-dollar company can hire a lawyer to look over her contract before she signs it. So while I think it's like, yeah, you signed a shitty contract, at the same time, I feel like maybe that's a little on you. You know, that's a little, you're doing it to yourself, you know? And secondly, it's like this all started with an audit request, which means that if Hybe is auditing and she acts this strongly, there must have been something to everything going on. And I'm not saying cults. I'm saying money.
Yeah,
money. All right, Frankie, what do you think of this whole situation? Now that
this is bizarre. I mean,
it's so bizarre.
You know, the first part, yeah, okay. She seems like a drama queen. She seems like she's trying to emotionally manipulate everyone, the press. But the cult thing, what the fuck?
Like that. Listen, you know, like during like the height of lockdowns, when it was just like we kept getting like these bizarre like
birthday.
Oh, now there's killer bees, like, and we were just like, what's happening with like this plot point? It's like this feels like out of left field to like muddy the waters of what's
that's exactly what I was thinking, that when it's, you know, it's distraction, it's shiny things to distract people from the real shenanigans going on, the real issues.
And in addition, since she's launched her like press conference and everything, Hybe shares, like, the price of them has dropped 12%. So clearly she's using, like, this is if I were a betting woman, which I am not, I would think that this is her plan to put pressure upon them in order to sort of give her into more of her demands. But this seems like foolishness.
Yeah.
All right. It seems like foolishness. And the amount of absolute chicanery that I've seen K-pop stans posting as though it were fact is wild to me. And I'm just like, have we learned nothing about conspiracy theories in the past 5 years of living on this earth or not? Like, what are we doing?
Oh, Twitter's just a dog's breakfast, to be honest. Like, seriously, it's just...
And it's like, just like, it blows my mind, Mike. I don't want to, listen, I'm not going to call out any fandom because, listen, we don't want to get fucking doxxed and murdered. But, like, it's brought out the weirdest people in the K-pop community to have the loudest opinions about it. And even people who aren't in the K-pop community. Like, this has breached containment, okay? I hadn't even like told my husband about this yet. And he's like, oh, New Jeans is in the news, like on CNN because of that. And I was like, oh my God.
This is all K-pop needs. More freaking
like, there's an article on it in Forbes. And I think it's actually really unfair that New Jeans is getting dragged into this. Because for one thing, there are a bunch of teenagers. They're not the ones making these financial decisions. And so sort of this is dragging their name through the mud in what is definitely like a spat between two executives.
But I'm driving around with a car with like K-pop stickers all over the back. They're making me look bad.
They're making us look crazy, okay?
Like I'm a nutter.
But like, listen, the funniest thing to come out of it was definitely G-Friend Satanic Panic, which has, I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, because I was at work when I saw the cult thing, and people were like, G-Friend, like satanic witches? And I was like, excuse me, what?
Wasn't that one of their concepts? Wasn't that?
Yeah, that was a concept. But it was like, they're not the only ones who've had that concept. Like, so I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
that is just funny.
I think I tweeted a G-Friend meme that was like, the satanic cult were the friends we made along the way. And I'm just like, what are we, this is, But almost $1 billion stock shift going on. And it's like, and you want to have me believe that this woman is putting all of this because she's having like she's going to put all of this effort because her boss told her to try to take down aespa with her comeback, like, and because like, ooh, maybe Illit borrowed some makeup looks from New Jeans. Like, I'm just sitting here like, no, this is about money. Like, they're bogging us down. Like, they're bogging us down in all of these miscellaneous, pointless details in order to obfuscate like what's actually going on, which at the root of all of these things is always money.
It's always money.
It's not crazy cult. Even most cults, at the root of most cults is money. Like, so I'm just sitting here like, stop getting bogged down in this fucking nonsense. She's after money and he's after money. The two of them are both after money. You don't need to take a side. They're both awful. Okay. So I know, I'm tired.
Thanks.
I'm tired.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for, I had no idea. That's amazing. I'll have to go back and read some tweets now. I'll have to go back and check out. I'll have to just search on cult, I guess.
So it's like the things to like learn about this situation for anyone who's like interested to what I think are the takeaways. One, never trust people in high positions of capitalistic power. They're always out for themselves. So this like, oh, they're like my children. No, you know what's like her children? Her fucking bank account. Okay. She's like, I'm not a executive type, business type. I was a graphic designer. You ain't a graphic designer anymore. You're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. Like, chill out. Secondly, stop trusting these fake news like these non-real news sources. Okay. Enough with the be like, oh, well, it was on all K-pop. That means all K-pop lies about shit all the time. They post nonsense constantly. What? 3? Yes, exactly, Mike. The kids have nothing to do with this, so I don't know why they're bringing any K-pop groups into this situation, because it's not actually about these K-pop groups. This is about the business side, not the artistic side. And third, enough with the cult shit.
Wait, I'll see a headline here. BTS Jungkook linked to cult speculation and controversy.
Yeah, no, listen. Okay, because here's the thing. It's like, it's gone. So there's like this online university that a lot of like the idols at Hybe are doing their university degrees at. And it's like, maybe this dude who runs this religion is like connected to this online university. And I'm just like, doesn't matter for what's actually happening in this story. Okay? Like, this is irrelevant if they go to an online university. Like, my sister ain't Baptist. She has a degree from a Baptist university. Like, fuck, get the fuck. And people are trying to bring in these like the horrible, like the cult that they made that documentary about. Like, they're trying to bring that into it. I'm like, enough. That's not related to what's happening. That's another issue that's not related to this issue. Okay? Like, none of these things are related.
They've all just jumped on the cult bandwagon, and now they're also retrospectively going back and
trying.
Everything was an indication. We should have known.
Yeah, this is what happens with conspiracy theories when you get taken over by one, is that you start going back and finding coincidences to justify your delusion that you're having. And I think delusion is such a big part of the K-pop fandom community that we need to all collectively help each other touch grass and get out of the delusional mindset that leads to, like, the memes are fun, all right? The memes are fun. Don't get me wrong. And I love, like, the meme-ation, like, people love a good bit. Like, the sweatshirt she was wearing at the press conference sold out the next day. Like, people love a good bit. All right. And you know what? I do too. But at this point, it's like we're teetering on an edge where a bit becomes dangerous for people who aren't involved in it whatsoever, which in this case are the artists and employees at these companies. This is a argument between two executives at a corporation. And basically, unless people get it together, the collateral damage is always the people who have no say in the whole thing.
As usual.
Yeah. Exactly, Mike. The real danger is the cult of personality. And I think that both of them, like the Bang PD, the Bang CEO, whatever they want to call him, the head of Hybe, and her are both trying to maintain their cult of personality that they've been cultivating, a great word, for years, and then they're sort of hoping that these, K-pop fans will basically join their side in this weird civil war. And like, don't do it. Don't give in, okay? Don't participate in this. Anyway, that's all we wanted to come chat about. We're going to go. Thank you for hang out with us. We'll be back with another. We're going to be.
Tweet us if you think there's any tea you'd like to talk about.
Any tea, because if there's any tea you'd like to talk about, we're going to make tea time a semi-regular thing. We're going to try to do more of these sort of shorter, more frequent lives just to hang out with y'all and chat about stuff. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed yourselves. Don't give in to delusions. Okay? Believe in your dreams, but don't believe in this nonsense. All right.
See you next time.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.